The truck pulls hard into fast traffic. Then something shifts inside. The fix you trusted starts working against you, and you don't feel it yet. Dashboard stays calm on a night drive. Everything looks stable, but internal temperatures are already moving past safe limits. Nothing broke. The system just stopped protecting you. Heat begins concentrating deep inside the engine, not everywhere, but in small critical zones where damage builds faster. The engine keeps running smoothly. But microscopic wear has already started, surfaces grinding in ways that won't recover. By the time you notice anything, the damage is no longer starting, it's already spreading. You stay on the road, pushing through traffic, unaware one small decision has already triggered a chain reaction inside. At first, nothing feels wrong. Then, the throttle hesitates. Just for a moment. By the time you notice it clearly, the damage isn't starting, it's already deep inside. The truck pushes harder through heat and traffic, and the engine is now running closer to its limits than it was ever meant to. One small adjustment has shifted the balance, and now heat isn't spreading, it's concentrating. Pressure starts building in tight internal zones, where parts are forced to handle stress they were never designed for. Someone told you this would improve performance. More power, better response, no downside. And it worked. Acceleration feels sharper, smoother, stronger. But that smoothness is the warning, because the stress didn't disappear. It moved. You keep driving long distances, but inside, the system has already shifted out of balance. It still feels smooth, because the imbalance hasn't reached the surface yet. Inside the engine, heat, airflow, and oil move in sync. Break that balance, and pressure stops spreading evenly. It starts concentrating. Not everywhere. In small internal zones, where parts take more stress than they were built for. Heat doesn't escape anymore. It stacks. Oil keeps flowing, but under rising temperature, it begins breaking down, losing its ability to protect anything it touches. Now friction starts increasing between moving parts, surfaces expanding, tightening, wearing faster with every rotation. The engine keeps running. But internally, tolerances are already slipping. Nothing fails at first. Then multiple components reach their limit at the same time. Seals begin weakening under sustained heat, gaskets slowly losing their ability to hold pressure. The engine keeps running, but internally, sealing integrity is already failing. Pressure starts leaking in places it shouldn't, disrupting the balance the system depends on. Then, it happens. Power drops suddenly. Temperature spikes. Multiple components fail within seconds. Control slips before you can react. This wasn't a single failure. It was a system collapse. And it started much earlier. Long before that moment, heat imbalance was already growing, stacking with every mile you kept driving. Now, as the load increases, combustion turns uneven, creating localized hotspots inside the engine. Pressure builds in tight zones, forcing parts to handle stress they were never designed for. This isn't stable anymore. It's coming apart from the inside. The dashboard stays calm on a late-night drive. Sensors report everything as normal, but they're missing what's happening deep inside. Oil keeps circulating, but under constant heat, it starts breaking down. Sludge begins forming, quietly blocking narrow passages and trapping heat where it should never stay. Now cooling efficiency drops. Friction starts rising between moving parts, where accelerating with every rotation. You press the accelerator, and the response comes back slightly delayed. Not enough to alarm you, just enough to ignore. A faint vibration, a slight hesitation, small signals, pointing to a system already under stress. But the damage is no longer small. The engine is approaching its limit, where one more push won't strain it. It will break it. Then it happens. One failure triggers another. Systems collapse in seconds. Power cuts. Control disappears. There's nothing left to correct. Because long before this moment, the system had already shifted. This wasn't just a performance gain. It was stress being redirected into parts never designed to carry it. You keep driving long stretches of road, engine sounding steady, but it's not overheating everywhere. It's overheating in the wrong places. Heat starts building in small hidden zones, creating damage where no system is designed to detect it. It's not hotter, it's misplaced. The dashboard shows normal temperature because it's reading an average. But deep inside, extreme heat is already rising in isolated areas, far beyond what those parts can handle. Oil keeps flowing through the system, but under pressure, it begins losing its strength, not just as lubrication, as a cooling system. Now heat isn't being carried away. It stays, it builds, and once it starts staying, everything around it begins to break down faster. No warning lights, no clear signs, just protection fading silently, long before anything visible fails. All of this started with one small change, a shift in a system built on precise balance. And once that balance is gone, the engine isn't operating differently. It's operating incorrectly. Small change. System collapse. Days pass. Miles add up. Nothing dramatic happens, because this kind of damage doesn't hit all at once. It builds, layer by layer, wear stacking silently inside the engine. You stay confident behind the wheel, because the truck keeps performing. And that's the trap. The system was never designed to run like this, and now it's operating beyond its safe limits. Then it happens. Something gives way inside. Power drops instantly. Temperature spikes. You press the accelerator, but the response is gone. The truck slows under load as traffic closes in behind you. This isn't a failure, it's a collapse. Warning lights flash, but they're not early warnings, they're confirmations. Inside the engine, components have already exceeded their limits. Critical surfaces are damaged beyond recovery. There's nothing left to stabilize, nothing left to fix, only replace. What once felt like a smart improvement now hits all at once. Massive repair costs, one decision, with consequences you can't undo. You sit there as everything stops working, realizing the moment you trusted it was the moment control was already slipping. You never saw it coming. Because this kind of damage doesn't announce itself. Even now the engine can sound calm, steady, normal. But the most dangerous damage was never loud. It was building silently, long before failure. You think back to that upgrade. Simple, safe, worth it. But not every fix is a solution. Some just delay the cost, until it arrives all at once. It looked right, but it wasn't. Because an engine doesn't rely on shortcuts, it relies on balance. And once that balance is disturbed, failure isn't sudden, it's inevitable. You replay the decision in your mind, how easy it felt. That was the risk, because when something feels too simple, the cost usually comes later. Too easy, too costly. The road stretches ahead, but by the time you sense something is wrong, there's nothing left to recover. And in the end, the engine falls silent. The truth hits late. The smartest move wasn't the upgrade. It was avoiding the wrong fix before it took control away from you.